Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Okay, the electronics are all working. Turns out the problem was that I trusted Google Gemini to tell me what the pinout was on this thing. The long one is the long one is the ground and the short one is the hot. And Google Gemini said the medium length one was the hot. And obviously that didn't work, and that's what my problem was. And I spent a couple days tearing the whole thing apart and putting it back together and getting it all working except for the medium one. And then decided that the jack was bad, and I never bothered to double check Google Gemini to see if they told me the right information in the first place or not. And the AI was wrong, and I got fucked over. I threw away a perfectly good jack and had to buy another pair at $5 a pop. And so, now I still got to put this thing in, solder it up to the correct lug, which is the short one, and glue it back in. And I also chipped out the guitar in the process of taking it out. So, lots of fucking errors there. Pardon my French, but as you can tell, I'm a little disgusted with Google Gemini. I mean, look, it couldn't even handle that simple shit of looking up a pinout for you, so I don't know, man. Well, it turns out that this channel back here doesn't go far enough in this direction in order to reach this shortest lug. So, the shortest lug only comes out to where the wood is. So I'm going to need to use the router, which is right there, and cut a little bit of channel going down in this direction. I don't know, maybe half an inch, something like that, in order to reveal this shortest lug here so that I can get a wire on it. And now there's plenty of room to get it all three lugs on this thing. You just need the long one and the short one here. Short one right there and the long one right there. But now it'll fit. Now it'll work just fine. I can wire it up and give it a slide it out. Wire it up, slide it out ever so slightly. Give it a little touch of glue right on this end and shove it back in. And that'll take care of that. So, making progress. I got the replacement jack in, soldered it up, glued it in. Everything's working, except the, it's this switch. The base on-off switch, it's shorted out. There's connection inside the switch internally between this lug and this open lug, no matter which way you throw the switch. So at the moment, the base pickup is on all the time. So next step's going to be to unsolder these two. Unsolder these two guys and swap that out for a fresh switch and make sure it works, solder it up, and then pop it in. And then, at that point, all the electronics will be working. And let's see, I've got the stainless screw for the trim claw block has arrived. So I can go ahead and put the the bridge and the claw and the springs and all that stuff on, the strings and stuff. And then I've already measured up a new design for the covers for this in order to replace this thing. And so I can use the shear brake in order to cut some aluminum for that, and that aluminum has also arrived as well. So all systems are looking go. Okay, the base on-off switch has been replaced and it's working now, on and off. So that's all good. Now it's time to make some aluminum cover plates for all this and close it up and hope that I don't short anything out in the process. So I already took some measurements of this thing and came up with some plans for aluminum covers for this that they'll all be convex covers, no concave like with this one piece. It'll be 3-piece cover, and each section is convex so I can cut it on the shears, unlike this one piece that had this curve in it. So the plan is to take this sheet metal here on the shears, cut this stuff out, drill little mounting holes in the corners for screws, kind of like this one had, and then go ahead and get it all trimmed nice and neat and fitting the body well, and then go ahead and drill and tap for screws and screw it on. Probably cover parts of it with some electrical tape in order to protect this stuff from shorting out. Okay, got this stuff opened up and I marked out the first section here, and yeah, there you can see the lines a little bit. And now it's time to take it to the hand shear and cut it out. Okay, I marked out and cut out the remaining 2 pieces, and this is what I ended up with. And from here I can go ahead and trim them up as necessary, like take that little corner off and that little corner off a little bit, and drill them and go ahead and screw them down. This one looks a little bit wider than necessary, so yeah, get them all to fit in here nicely. This one will go between that insert and these inserts here. So that's the basic idea. So now it's time for a little detail work, you might call it. So that's one down and two to go. So this is it with the second plate in place. So that's two down and still have one to go here. And there it is, all three panels installed. Now I need to test it again and make sure I didn't short anything out. Okay, everything's working. So that's cool. I didn't short anything out. On to whatever's next. Well, it looks like the only thing left to do is put the bridge back on, along with the new trim claw and the stainless steel version of the screw for this thing. And that will complete the build. So this is the new hardware for the claw block. It's actually an Allen drive flathead wood screw in stainless steel. And it goes in just like that. Sticks out just the right amount. Should be perfect. And the Allen drive on it will give it a little bit more of a high-tech look with the Allen and the stainless. Okay, got the tape off the strings and went ahead and got them locked down in the anchors all the way. And they're in the saddles. And now all I have to do is put on the locks here. That's the next step. Just dug them out. So I'll be putting these locks on, and then it's just a matter of tightening down the claw screws and tightening down the tuner knobs in order to bring it all up in tension and maybe drop the bridge down a little bit. At this point, it looks like it needs to go down, but once I get it up to tuning tension and the bridge level by adjusting the claw, get all that at the same time, uh, it might be that this is already at the correct height. Because as I recall, this was pre-assembled at least once, so it already had the springs and strings on it. So that's where I'm at. Just pop these guys on, and then slowly but surely bring it up to tension. Okay, I got it up to tuning tension, or pretty close, and the bridge is pretty low. Adjusted up the claw so the bridge was pretty level, but it was still looking kind of high. So I backed off the tension, used a Q-tip and a bottle cap full of WD-40 here, and I hit up like the posts and the knife edges with that. I also did like the bearings on the tuners with just like a swipe with the Q-tip with some WD-40 on it in order to help things move. Then I loosen these guys up and drop the bridge down. It's pretty close now, and and it's close enough now that I was able to get the spacer in the back here, 4mm spacer that blocks it from doing pull-ups. So right now it's locked in hardtail mode, and it's like maybe 1-2 turns on the screw tighter than that in order to keep the bridge from moving. And now I just have to finish bringing it up to tension and fine-tuning the post heights in order to get the action correct. And then I just loosen up these 2 screws until I can pull this thing out easily, and that should be pretty much it. So, a lot of stuff going on here. I was all set to test it with the electronics all closed up, and it wasn't working for some reason. And then the guitar fell off the bench, and it knocked loose the neck pickup and the bass pickup. I had to glue those guys back on. And it also knocked the neck out of alignment, so I had to loosen up screws and fix that. And it also started to pull this insert for this post out, so I had to put that back in. And I noticed that I hadn't set the radius on the saddles yet, so I just did that, and they're all set now. So now all I have to do is put the bridge back on, put the strings back on, and string it all up, tune it all up again, adjust the claw again, and then I can get back to why isn't the electronics working with the covers on it. So much fun. Okay, I've got it all back together again, and tuned up, the claw adjusted, and the action adjusted, and all that kind of good stuff. And it's actually sort of working. Let's see, there's some kind of a short or intermittent open related to the back covers, or maybe a broken solder joint or something like that, because if you bang it the right way, it'll stop working, and if you bang it the right way again, it'll start working again. So I'll have to open it up and see what that is. I'm not really impressed with the output of my kit bashed humbucker here, so I ordered up a replacement off of eBay, and it'll be here in a few days. And as you can see from these little wires here, it is an actual 4-wire splittable humbucker. So hopefully that'll have better voicing than this thing that I kit bashed together. And then the only other thing that's going on is it's getting a little bit of buzz and fretting in this region here. And based on the behavior, it looks like this number 3 fret might be a little bit proud, because I can fret it at like the first and it'll buzz, and I can fret it at like the second on number 4 and it'll also buzz. So it's possible this thing's a little bit proud. I'm going to start by tweaking the saddle heights, raising up the number 4 and 5 string a little bit, see if I can fix it that way. If not, then I'll take a rubber mallet and see if I can reseat this 3rd fret and see if that takes care of it. And if that doesn't, then I'll have to resort to some spot leveling perhaps. But yeah, so that's what's next. Waiting a few days for a new humbucker to come in, a proper humbucker, and going to adjust up the saddle height, see if I can get rid of this buzz on the 5th and 6th strings around the 1st, 2nd, 3rd fret region. And other than that, everything seems to, oh, and then I got to figure out where this intermittent short is with the covers. And other than that, it's all working. So I'm getting there, slowly but surely. So the only things left to fix are the intermittent ground or open, the humbucker upgrade, and this fret buzz issue up in around number 2 and 3 frets. And I think I'm going to tackle this first while I wait for the humbucker to arrive. So I got a straight edge here, and it looks like there's really too much relief in this thing right now. It's got maybe 0.5 millimeter, something like that. So I'm going to start by adjusting up the truss rod and see if I can get this a little flatter, and then see where I'm at on that buzz. Well, I can get it loose, but I can't get it out of the way because of the strings. So I'm going to have to loosen the string tension and unlock all this stuff and pull the strings out of the top end to get them out of the way so I can get at the truss rod. Having to loosen up the strings at the top end really kind of sucks, because I was hoping I'd be able to adjust the truss rod while it was still under tension. But that's life. Probably what I'll end up doing is I'll give it ever so slight amount of back bow, so that when it comes under tension, it'll come back up straight again. Okay, if this was like a regular super strat with a Floyd Rose or some other full float type of bridge system, I wouldn't have to mess with the claw at all. I could just block it off sort of level and then loosen up the strings and do what I had to do. But as you can see here, there's just really not enough guitar to block this thing off with the bridge level once you've loosened up all the strings. So I'm going to have to loosen up the claw and then tighten it all back up and rebalance all again later. But what I can do is take a measurement of how far it is from the block and make a note of it. So yeah, I've done that, and it's 15 millimeters from the claw to the block. So now I can safely loosen it up get all this thing taken apart, get that truss rod adjusted, put it all back together, then crank it back down to 15 millimeters, and then tweak it from there without using any kind of block at all. Okay, now that I've got the strings off it turns out that it already has a little bit of back bow. I used the straight edge and the backlight on it. And yeah, you see a little daylight over here and a little bit over here. So it's already got some back bow. It's actually relatively flat about from here to here. But yeah, there's just a slight bit of back bow. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set it straight as possible again. Use the rubber mallet and make sure this like number 3 and number 4 frets are fully seated. And then I'm going to go ahead and string it back up, bring it up near tension, and adjust the claw and stuff. But I'm going to leave the truss rod cover off so that I can go ahead and adjust the truss rod while I'm bringing it up to tension in order to try to keep it as flat as possible. I'm not really sure why it got so much relief into it before, but then again, the guitar sort of kind of sat for almost 3 months while I took a little break from building guitars. But anyway, so yeah, that's the battle plan at this point. Okay, I backed off the truss rod, and so it's in the neutral position. It's not tight one way or the other. It's just kind of backed off in this direction until it's just beginning to feel resistance, so it won't move any and rattle. And now, and I used the rubber mallet and gave the number 2, 3, and 4 frets a few whacks just to make sure they're fully seated. And putting this on, once I took the back bow out of it and got this thing back to neutral, it was starting to look a whole lot better. So at this point, I'm going to put it all back together without the truss rod cover and see where it's at. Okay, the strings are back on and the locks are all locked back down, and it's time to bring it up to tension. But I wanted to lubricate some of this stuff some more before I did that. And I like to use something like B-Laster or WD-40. It's pretty thin stuff, but it's always a hassle trying to get it there without making a mess. But it occurred to me that if you took one of these disposable mini CA glue bottles and put it in it, that then you could just put a drop here and there kind of a thing. So I'm going to do that now. So this stuff is awfully thin despite the small tube, and I hope I don't make a mess. It's working pretty good. Just gets it wet, sort of. Just what I wanted. It'll soak down into the bearings, make these nice and easy to turn. Then I also want to get these threads down in here as well. Especially the back end, because that's the part that'll get threaded up. But yeah, this seems to work pretty well. Yeah, all these are quite smooth and turn easily now. Okay, I tuned it back up, set the claw back to 15 millimeters from the block. So it's all nice and level with the strings, and it's working. I've got it on single coil bridge with base off at the moment. And I've already checked it, and all the buzz is gone, so adjusting the truss rod seems to fix things. Now I've got to figure out what I want to do about the truss rod cover. I can either take the strings back off and put it on and then put the strings back on, or try to figure out some alternative maybe. I don't know. I have to think about that one a bit. So that's takes care of the buzz. Want to do the humbucker upgrade and figure out this intermittent short here. I might just wait, since I got to crack it open to do the humbucker. I might just wait until then in order to try chasing down the short. I might, come across it in the process of swapping the humbucker. So that might just wait. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.